If you're someone that has tightness or limitation in the shoulders, neck, and that whole upper extremity region, performing some type of mobility drills on a daily basis could be beneficial to you, regardless of whether you could potentially sit at a desk all day, you travel frequently, you find yourself sitting in a car, or maybe you just don't do a whole lot with your upper body. These drills can be performed very simply from the comfort of your home to help improve, if not maintain, range of motion of the shoulders and neck, to just make sure we can hopefully reduce the likelihood of injury and maintain function as we start to get older. So first exercise is what's called shoulder cars. So shoulder cars is a very simple movement pattern. It takes some appreciation of those small little nuances over time as you go through the shoulders, multi-directional range of motion. Biggest thing when you complete any type of cars or controlled articular rotations, we want to create some stiffness into the core, engage the glutes, root our feet into the ground. Even as you can see, I'm holding a dowel here on this side. I'm actually pushing that into the ground to create tension in the opposite shoulder. The more tension and stiffness I can create throughout the body, the more I can then move this shoulder through its full range of motion. So just to see what a shoulder car is, we're going to start by my hand by my side, fully externally rotated, which means that thumb's going to be fully rotated out to the side. At all times, you want to explore the shoulder's full range of motion. So you want to constantly be pushing the amount of range of motion. I don't want you just to be here and be comfortable in that position. I want you to create tension throughout the system, fully externally rotate that shoulder. You can see that thumb coming out to the sideward and really try to push that. As I come through this motion here, I'm actually going to come across the body slightly. My thumb is still trying to rotate out to the side, externally rotate the shoulder. I'm coming up overhead. Here, thumb is still pointing out to the side. From there, I'm going to start to unlock the shoulder, internally rotate. You can see the thumb is starting to change its position as it's rotating forward and then downward. I'm trying to get this arm as far as I can behind the body and up into extension as possible. Once it's straight back there and I can't elevate it any higher, I'm going to slowly lower it back down. So now you can see by my side, my thumb is pointing forward because my shoulder is internally rotated. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the arm straight back, thumb points to the ground, shoulder goes into extension. I'm going to unlock the shoulder, start to rotate that thumb up towards the ceiling, all the way up overhead. This is where the thumb points out to the side. I'm trying to get that arm overhead as far as I can without arching into my back, right? If I'm able to create stiffness, hold my body in position, nothing changes through here, as it's my shoulder that's creating that range of motion, and then I can go through, across, and back down, right? Should be a fairly challenging motion. Just to see from the side here, so that's shoulder cars. Reason we're doing that first before this next shoulder exercise, the shoulder is a ball and socket joint. If we can work on rotation of the shoulder, we actually are better able to open up that joint capsule. All of those ligaments and tissues that surround the joint that hold the ball into the socket. So then when we do this next exercise, which is called the PVC pull through, obviously not a PVC here, this is a dowel or wooden stick, but using this next exercise to then move the shoulder overhead through a full range of motion. The wider my hands are on this, the easier it is. I see some people start so close that they're like, I can't get overhead, it's too difficult. Go a little bit wider, make it too easy to start, and then go through that range of motion. You can see I have a tendency, because I'm tight in the shoulders, you'll see my fingers coming off a little bit. They'll start to kind of twist this way. I'm cheating. We want you to try to keep your hands on as best as possible, or find a position where you can maintain that position the entire time. Up and over. Pretty easy. I can walk my hands in a little bit closer, usually just a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch, and you will feel that difference. But this is the PVC pull through. If you see this from the side, one tendency we want to stay away from here as we come up overhead, arching into the lower back, that's cheating, right? Because my shoulders are tight, my lower back has a tendency to arch. So I want to try to create stiffness, pull my rib cage down, engage my glutes, move overhead without allowing my spine to change its position. So that's the second exercise, PVC pull-throughs. When you're doing that, you can do about 10 repetitions. The shoulder cars, anywhere from 3 to 5 repetitions per side. And if you notice any tightness that's different on one side versus the other side, that's when you can isolate that side with a couple extra repetitions. Third exercise, and so many people are neglecting their neck. I hear people say, hey, from work, I have so much tension, so much tightness in the neck and the shoulders, but they don't really do anything for it. Over time, you're like, oh man, you know, it's hard. As I'm driving in my car, it's hard for me to look over my shoulder to check to see if someone's coming up next to me, or, right, those little things start to become more challenging. And then when our neck is limited, we end up having to move our body more because our neck can't go through that full range of motion, right? First place I always start with people is retraction and extension. Because we're at the computer sitting so much throughout the day, we tend to fall into this forward head posture, not always meaning you're going to develop pain from being in that position, but I think making sure the spine has the ability, the neck, especially that part of the spine, has the ability to flex, has the ability to extend, rotate, ear to shoulder. We want to be able to move in a full range of motion. So I always start in the sagittal plane here with retraction, which is a chin tuck, extension, slowly looking overhead into extension, reset, retraction, extension. If you feel like you've been sitting at a computer or driving for a long period of time and that head's been slightly forward, you might feel some fatigue through the neck and the shoulders. This exercise helps reverse that position, get you into extension, to help really find that natural lordotic curve of the neck. Same thing as the PVC pull-throughs, completing about 10 repetitions. So if you're looking for good upper body mobility exercises, shoulder cars, PVC pull-through, and cervical retraction with extension could be good ones for you. Please feel free to comment below if you have any questions. Thank you.